Welcome back to Access Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Gargantia and the Verdurous Planet, Episode 9. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out the fleet commander has passed away, and he left Rigid in charge. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing, but moving on past that, we do find out Flange has taken his ships, and he has departed, and Lado is tagging along with him thanks to Pinion. Now, Pinion basically wants to use Lado to go treasure hunting, plain and simple, in the whale squid territory, which is where Lado wants to go, because he wants to massacre the whole whale squid population. I mean, that's what he was bred for, and the only way he can do that without being persecuted is to go with Flange. So it does make sense, but moving on past that, toward the end of the episode, we find out Amy and Bebel have been left behind. So I thought they were main characters, but in this case, they've been left behind. And again, that's where the episode ends, and all my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with Lado, and apparently he's carrying out an independent mission against the Hive Owls. I can't wait to see where this was going to take us, but you know what? It's a massacre. Now we are taking to a little cutscene with Chambers, and he's telling Lado that the Earth Hive Owls, known as the whale squids, are weaker than the ones known in outer space. So that's a good thing. So that means he doesn't have to worry about too much of anything. Now he does point out to Lado that he can drive them away without any troubles. So he doesn't have to lift a real finger, because they're not that strong to begin with. But Lado just wants to massacre them. He doesn't want to give them a chance to run away, to regroup. He wants to kill every single hideout he comes across. And again, that's where we open up with. Moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with Pinion. Now, this is Pinion's flashback. You heard me correct. We're taken to a flashback between Pinion and his brother. Now, if you remember correctly, in a few episodes ago, Pinion was being not persecuted because of what his brother went through, but the loss of his brother. Because Pinion in this flashback was with his brother, and they were scavenging under the water. Apparently they ran into a whale squid nest. Yeah, it didn't look good, and apparently Pinion's brother was killed by the whale squids while attempting to scavenge this treasure they found. And the sad part, Pinion sees his brother being killed right in front of him by a whale squid, and it is just very gruesome. I'll put it that way, it's gruesome. Specifically because it's right in front of you underwater and you can't do a damn thing. It looked like Pinion was shitting his pants because he couldn't do anything. That was one terrible flashback in my opinion. But moving on past that, we're taking to a little cutscene with Lado. Now Lado is murdering all of the whale squid he's coming across. He's not even breathing for air. He's just killing them left and right. And apparently Chambers mentions to Lado they have 23% of their energy has been consumed. So that was, I guess, kind of pointless, because I mean that's what, 77% of power that's left. Like, oh yeah, by the way, you used 23% of your power. And Lado doesn't fucking care. He's just gonna keep killing the whale squid until they're defeated. Now apparently more whale squid appear out of nowhere. I mean, really? Kill a couple whale squid and you get a couple more. Well, what do you expect? They're just gonna walk away? These whale squid are like a tight-knit group. You know, they're not going to run away when you just kill one of them. So we see Lado, and he's killing all of these whale squid, and it's not really getting him anywhere because more whale squid are showing up. And this is not looking good for Lado right now. Now Chambers, he recommends to Lado to retreat. Retreat. This is a high-powered mecha from outer space, years ahead of Earth, and you want to retreat. I don't understand it at first, what Chambers was telling Lado, but it makes sense because once Lado retreats, he leads the hideouts, or in this case the whale squid, into a trap. Yeah, apparently Lado's companions, which are above the surface, you know, on Flange's ships with Pinion, they're using anti-shock barrels to take out all the whale squid, and I thought this was ingenious. It was literally like, here's the whale squid, and here's Lado. Lado's going away, luring them into a trap, while Lado's companions are above here. Once Lado is to safety, the barrels go down and they destroy all the whale squid. And it is a perfect plan, so perfect that 67% of the whale squid have been destroyed. They're now dead. It was a perfect plan. But just remember, folks, that was just a small amount of the whale squid. That wasn't their main population, which you kind of wonder what else is in store for the whale squid. I mean, how much of a pounding are they going to take until they really fight back? Now, moving on past that, we find out Leto, he finds the whale squid's nest. So he digs deeper into the whale squid territory, into what appears to be some random base, because we see satellites, all this interesting technology under the water in this base, which is now considered a whale squid nest. And Leto has just stumbled across it, and he's just being attacked. Left and right, Leto is being attacked, and he's attacking these whale squid. They're coming out of nowhere, but he wins. He kills every single damn whale squid he comes across. He's not holding back, and I kind of like him for that. I respect him. I mean, if he's going to be stuck on Earth, at least he's doing something he was born to do, right? And there's no one there to criticize and tell him to stop. That's a good thing. Now, Leto does find the hideout children, or in this case, the larva of the hideouts, and he just kills them. I mean, it makes sense because he doesn't want them reproducing or populating the area even more than they already are. But still, they were referred to as children, but they're larvae. So that was kind of, I don't know, a little weird how he described it. They're children, but they're considered larvae. Just kill them and be done with it, and that's what he does do. And he doesn't even look like he gives a damn. He's inside of chambers, and you see a little laser beam come out and just killing all the larvae he comes across. It looks like it's heartless, but in my opinion, I was impressed that he was able to do that without showing any signs of drama. Well, not so much as drama, but any signs of emotion that this is wrong. To him, this is right. And I can't wait to see what he was going to do next. But apparently, Leto and Chambers, they stumble across what appears to be scientific data. These little chips that are in the water, they're considered scientific data, and it's been left behind, and somehow Chambers picks them up, and now Leto knows about it. And Chambers is telling Leto this is restricted information from the Galactic Alliance. Not particularly from the Galactic Alliance, but the Galactic Alliance has deemed this kind of information classified, and Leto, you're not allowed to see it. Leto tells Chambers, let me re-say this in a different way. Leto tells Chambers, who is the highest ranking official on this planet? Go. And Chambers says, that would be you. Okay. Well, since I'm the high ranking official on this pathetic planet, maybe you should tell me what's on this scientific data that is considered classified information. And apparently Chambers says, okay, you win. I can't believe that Leto's actually outsmarted Chambers, but he made a good point. Leto is the highest ranking official on the planet because he's the only Galactic Alliance member on the damn planet, so of course he's the only high ranking official. Although he's only an ensign, which is on kind of a small rank if you consider that, but still, he outsmarted Chambers, which that was probably my favorite part throughout this episode. Now, this data, it talks a lot about the Free Science Citadel, if that makes any sense. So the location that Leto is in right now, that's full of satellites, and they find the administrative block, it's called the Free Science Citadel, which is a weird name in my opinion, but anyways, this data that Leto found goes off to start talking about the, if I'm correct, the Revolvers, a group called the Revolvers, and the Confederation something Union, the Confederate Union or something, Confederation Union and the Revolvers, and how they're having like a fight or a miniature war on Earth. And that doesn't sound like restricted information in my opinion. However, this Citadel, which they're currently in, was attacked in the past, and this Citadel was responsible for space projects. I'm like, okay, so this is kind of interesting. This scientific data that they found basically says this Citadel that they're in was responsible for creating all of those spaceships in outer space, or should I say the space portals, or I don't know how else to describe it, but the technology that the Galactic Alliance now has. The Citadel is being held responsible for creating it. So that was definitely interesting information he found. But it gets better. One of the groups, I believe it was the Citadel, the Free Science Citadel, they were responsible for creating the Hideows, which are actually human beings. I was like, what? So this plant-like creature, or in this case the whale squid, were once human. The humans evolved themselves into this, and it was just, what? I didn't want to believe it, but once you see this, once you watch this episode, now you know the truth about why this information was classified. And Chambers, he actually destroys the hideouts that are in front of Leto. Because apparently one of the hideouts, which look a little more human than before, shows up right in front of Leto, and it looks like Leto was about to reach out and talk to this hideouts or something along those lines, and Chambers grabs the hideouts, kills it, and Leto just loses it. He's like, why? Why did you do that? Type of an attitude. He's like, why? Leto now knows the truth about the hideouts, and he's just stunned on what Chambers did. I'm like, wait a minute, Leto, you just killed a shitload of hideouts, and now you want to fucking repent? Hey buddy, it's too fucking late. You cannot do that now. Once you start, you cannot stop. I'm sorry, you can't repent. How many hideouts or whale squid did you kill? And now that you know the truth, you want to repent? Well, what do the hideouts say about it? I mean, these hideouts are technically half human, right? Or something along those lines, like a human hybrid. Well, let's hear what they have to say about you murdering half of their people, 76% of them. Or 67% of them. I'm pretty sure they're not going to want you to be around them or even live. But anyways, toward the end of the episode, we are taking to a little cutscene with Bebel. And apparently, Bebel is playing the flute, which Leto created for him. And he's playing an interesting tune on it. And Amy walks in and she hears it, and that's where the episode ends. But we do see Amy start to get a little teary-eyed. Now, again, that's where the episode ends. As for my final thoughts, well, first of all, now that Leto knows the truth about the hideouts being like a human hybrid, what is he going to do next? Is he going to side with the hideouts, try to find some that are going to talk to him, maybe try to have a conference or a confrontation with one-on-one? We have no fucking idea, but right there. I mean, seeing the first hideout when it was created, it was actually a human being, and then the human being becoming more and more of a hideout, you know, what we see now, which is total right there, you know. But again, I can't wait to see what Leto's actually going to do and what the hideout are going to do. I mean, think about it. The hideout just lost 67% of their population thanks to Leto, and now Leto wants to repent. How is that going to work out for them? I don't know about you, but I don't see this working out. And what about the pirates? Don't forget about the pirates. Where the hell are they at? And what about Pinion? Now that Pinion is in the whale squid territory, what is the treasure that he's after that his brother was looking for? We have no idea. But again, that is it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, 3.5 out of 5. I'm giving this a little more credit than I should have. There really wasn't a lot of fight scenes. We basically saw Leto in a huge massacre against the whale squid. He's just picking them off one by one, and then he finds this interesting classified information about the hideouts and how they were created. That was where the real information was at, and that's what we needed to see. Now we know how the hideouts were created and how they kind of matured into what we know about the whale squid now. But that still leaves a lot of questions on why the Galactic Alliance deemed this as classified information if it's the truth. It makes no sense. But what we do know, which is what I left out of the review, is that the hideouts wanted the technology that the scientific Citadel had about outer space, about having these portals that go through one universe to the next, or I should say from one solar system to the next, you know, like the transportation system that this one government created. So now we know what the hideouts really want. They want to dominate space. They want to dominate so many cultures, but for their own reasons. I mean, they were pushed to the brink of extermination, so of course they want to live. But what's driving them right now to want to take over the universe, to, fight? We really don't know. I mean, maybe it's revenge against the people that tried to shut you off and kill you. But the Galactic Alliance was originally from Earth, and they have all this technology to go through outer space. But why did they classify that information like they did? It doesn't make any sense. If this is the truth, why isn't it more available to the public? We really don't know. But again, final rating, 3.5 out of 5. And that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Gargantia on the Verdurous Planet episode 9. So definitely comment down below. Let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe. Check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode. And let me know what you think of the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now. I gotta hit the bricks and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.